you're not going to take, if we can't, you're not going to take my pain away, right? The Jewish people say, it's the Holocaust, this happened, and you can't say anything about it. We can't take their pain away. No one's going to denounce the fact that they tried to lock me up. That's what, because every time I'm just holding stride, and it's like, I thought I was more Malcolm X, but I find out I'm more MLK, because as I'm getting hosed down every day by the press and financially, I'm just standing there. And when I found out that they tried to put me in jail, it was like a dog was biting my arm, and I almost shed a tear, almost, but I still walked in stride through it. Yeah.
I think they've been extremely unfair to you.
Who was they though? We can't say who they is,
corporate
can we?
press. I'm not using I don't use the word as the way I guess you guys use. I'm talking about.
It is them though, isn't it? I mean, because
No.
because when you think about it, consider it. In 2018.
What do you mean it's not?
What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about? Are you leaving?
Are you referring to the press?
He's gone. I'll say it right now. You guys want to bring that stuff up? And then
have
think
the
we're not going to have a conversation?
Like have the discussion.
Like you think Ye's going to come in here and say, here's my pain, here's my suffering. I'm going to say, I hear you. And then he's going to say, and it was Jewish people. And I'm going to be like, okay, but don't you consider, it's like, I'm not going to do this. I refuse.
Go, make sure he's cool.
All right, go for it. Luke and I will have a conversation. So I can't say I'm surprised. What do I even do? Other than ask him, please elaborate on this. Are you referring to individuals, or are you quite literally blaming an entire group of people for the fact that powerful individuals are causing you harm?
I really wanted to ask Nick about his thoughts about MLK, because I know they contradict his comments about that. But again, these are mass generalizations that don't really help anyone in my perspective. They just kind of sound like their opposition. They sound what they're kind of going against, the woke mob that's always saying white men are responsible for everything. When I see people just use generalizations, it kind of cheapens the conversations. It cheapens a dialogue that we could have here that I was planning to talk to Ye about, specifically bringing up like, hey, let's actually talk about this in a real concise way. Let's not get emotional. Let's not walk out of here. Let's actually
let me
control
tell all you
ourselves.
guys outright. I said, this is going to be a big issue. Before the show, obviously, people are going to bring up the questions of anti-Semitism. Why don't we talk about the news? I want to hear what happened with this meeting. I want to understand what Ye 24 is. And then we can do a longer conversation about any of that stuff. And Ye literally in the first 5 minutes says, no, I want to talk about a group of people and point to them. Whatever, man. You want to know why? Look, you're not going to sit here and you're going to walk out of the room. You're free to do so, man. But literally, I said a couple sentences about, I don't think that's fair. Did I insult the man? He seriously can't handle? He can't handle it?
He also left during the Piers Morgan interview he did, but he came back. So, again, we should be able to have this conversation. What's up, Chris?
He wants his phone.
Oh, yeah.
Look, man, I wanted to talk to these guys about why they're meeting with Trump.
Chris.
I want to know what happened with the dinner, because we hear a lot of rumors about it.
I want to hear about their 2024 platform, which they were promising, which they were talking about, like they're going to be officially.
Let me explain to everybody. Unfortunate they walked out. Fine, maybe they'll come back. Whatever. This is the biggest challenge with dealing with identitarianism. I do not believe that the predeterminate factor in someone's worth, value, or agenda is based on immutable characteristics. Kanye is a black man. He does not represent all black people. There are Jewish individuals who work in banks. Dave Chappelle made the joke about Jewish people in Hollywood. And he said, but it doesn't mean anything. You got a lot of black people in Ferguson, doesn't mean they run the place. The point is, I'm all about individualism, meritocracy, personal responsibility. That means an individual of any background can be capable of anything. More importantly, we have employees here who are Jewish, who spend time in Israel, and would probably agree with a lot of issues that they would talk about, especially as it pertains to America first, bringing jobs back here and securing our borders. But then it's just like every step of the way, it's like, bro, if you live in a world where a single group of people is haunting you, you're trapped. You're not going to get out. The issue is you can overcome anything. I understand, and I empathize that there are powerful business interests that are coming at Kanye. And I will also say this, because I wanted to get into the Trump stuff. When Kanye mentioned he got suspended on Twitter, then he gets word that Milo wants to meet up with him. Then Milo puts him in touch with Fuentes. My immediate, question is, okay, my thought to myself, we really want to know about the inner details of this Trump meeting. I guess it's not going to happen. My question then is, don't you think that if Kanye is going to say these things and then immediately start getting involved with Fuentes, that only amplifies the accusations made against him. But I guess if they genuinely believe these things, that's who they are.
I was dying to interrupt. I was dying to say a whole bunch of stuff during his conversation. I respectively, didn't. I was waiting to counter back, but we didn't even push back at all. Really, we didn't even really say anything crazy out there. I mean, come on. Like we should at least have the tough conversations. We should debate these ideas.
What does he think's going on?
And I don't know, but I just wish people were, again, like, hey, you don't agree with me 100%? That's fine. That's okay. I'm not going to run away. like, come on. Let's have this discussion. Let's have this conversation. I really wanted to talk about Balenciaga. I really wanted to talk about Harley Pasternak. I really wanted to talk about Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle talked about, a lot of the things that Ye was warning about, specifically with people trying to drug him, specifically with people trying to, of course, get him on big pharma medicines. He was, again, sent to, he was institutionalized a couple years ago, specifically on November 21st, 2016. He's pointing a lot of this blame on this Harley Pasternak guy who, again, he's the one who's training Lizzo, Elliot Page. He was training Brittany Murphy. He trained a lot of controversial figures, and he is connected to Canadian military psyops. That's we should know what else is happening behind the scenes there, what else he knows. But
before the show,
we can't even get that.
Before the show, Ye was like, this was funny. He's like, how do I become president? How do you win? And I thought it was a rhetorical question because, why would I know that question? And he was like, hey, man, I asked you a question. What do you think? And I was like, oh, ballot harvesting, hands down. You go door to door. He brought it up when he mentioned that I said that he would do well with the black vote. I feel like that's kind of oversimplifying what I said. What I said was that he's a celebrity. He's a personable character. He appeals to regular people more so. If he knocked on the door and you said Trump, Biden, yay, they'd be like, yay. But I do think that he would do. I do think he would do better with the black vote simply because there's people who look up to him because they can see themselves in him. Now, let me elaborate. That's actually more of a leftist position, this woke position, because I don't completely disagree with every component of what diversity is. I think that it's true that if you're a little kid growing up in this country and you're not white, but all you ever see on billboards and all you ever see on TV is white people, that means something, that has an effect on you. And that's basically what I'm getting to. All I can really say is this. Bro, if I can't ask you questions calmly, like, hey, but don't you think this is like localizing? He could have been like, I don't, I genuinely view it this way. And I'd have said, well, okay, I can only ask you the question. You're allowed to believe what you want to believe. But dude, what did I ask him? 3 questions about it? And he just got up and left. He's going to come here and just talk and be uninterrupted. Before we started the show, he said, hey, we're doing this show. Why don't we do it every week? Yeah. And I'm like, what is this? Is because you can't get on any other shows? I'm sorry, bro. This is not a show where you come in and talk by yourself and say whatever you want and say things that are that warrant questioning at the very least.
At least for clarification.
Yeah, I mean, everything should be questioned. Everything should be debated. Everything should be, talked about. We shouldn't stray away from uncomfortable situations. We decide to take things head on. We have our particular viewpoints. They have theirs. It's obviously there's a difference. Obviously, we believe in different things. Let's see which idea is better. Right. Let's see which idea wins out in the public sphere. Let's actually have that conversation. And it's kind of sad that we can't.
Well, I think it's funny that we got people in super chats who are like, why didn't you just let them keep talking and keep talking?
But that's not how the show works. We cut each other off all the time. I just cut you off right now.
I know.
Right? This is the way we do the show.
Guys, I'm sorry, man. I'm not here to do a show where we let one look. We had Milo come on a couple weeks ago, and he mostly just talked. And I think there's something interesting there. Milo had been banned for a really long time and hadn't spoken out in years.
5 years.
Ye's been on a whole bunch of podcasts. So when we were talking about bringing them on, I said, look, man, after the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff, people were like, are you going to get him on the show? And I'm like, I don't want to chase after a dude who, he's in the news. Ye goes on Rogan before. He goes on Friedman. And then I'm like, that's cool. They got those conversations. Then we were told we would get Milo, Fuentes, and Ye at the same time, and we could talk about this big news, because that's what we do. We are a topical news show with guests. We are not Joe Rogan Experience. We're not guest interviews. And so with Milo, we had him on, and it turned into something different because the man's been out of the limelight for 5 years and came back and said Trump supporters want revenge. So here on this show, I don't want to tell you, man. Ye doesn't have to do anything. He owes me no favors. He wanted to come on the show, but he didn't want to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I didn't disrespect him. We were nice to him. You know, we hung out with him before the show. You know, we tried to accommodate him to the best of our abilities, but he didn't want to entertain a conversation. I can't make him. He doesn't owe me that. He can leave. That's his thing. You know, appreciate him trying as best as he did. That's about it.
That's true. I mean, what else can you do, right? I mean,
Look, you know, let me tell you guys some stories. Because I guess this is the show now. Welcome to the Monday night show. It was all hype and then all nothing. You know, I don't like identitarianism. I've never been a fan of people who've blamed everyone else for their problems. I remember during Occupy Wall Street, you had people saying it was the 1%. That was the cause of their problems. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You got 1%ers here giving you money. You've got rich people down here supporting Occupy Wall Street, providing funding. You've got like George Soros money going into these nonprofits that are funding you to complain about rich people. The problem is varying agendas. The problem is varying ideologies. The problem is everyone fighting for power for what they want. In Ye's circumstance, they're coming after him. They're trying to take away his stuff. They're threatening him with institutionalization, and I understand all of that. It's unfortunate that he's internalized this problem to it is a specific ethnic and religious background that's doing it. And I'm like, bro, it's specific people doing it to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
Well,
we can read super chats.
Well, I think super chats would be interesting to spur on this conversation. But
We made it 27 minutes, and YouTube didn't take it down. Ye just got up and left.
yeah, people don't understand. We took a big risk tonight. Like it was my channel, it was your channel, especially on the line, because again, we're hosting conversations that are tough, that are not easy to have, that we need to be ready for, that we need to, of course, counter ideas just to let the best idea win. So with taking this risk is just unfortunate that it played off the way it did. Again, he doesn't owe us anything, but this just should have done. I just wish it would have went a totally different way. But you can't control individuals, and if someone can't handle getting their assertions questioned,
Well, but why did he get so angry about it? That's my question.
I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's not like we were confrontational. It's not like we were rude. I definitely disagreed with some of the statements, and I was waiting to jump in just to have that conversation.
Well, here's my thing. I don't know who he's talking about. I don't know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And so when he says a thing happened to me, and I'm like, but who did it? What am I supposed to be like? You've got a, I'm sorry, man. Like the idea that you've got a group of people of this, like, it just doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, man. It just doesn't. There's certainly powerful individuals who are friends with each other. Like I said, Bezos, billionaire. Bill Gates, billionaire. Bill Gates going on TED Talks talking about depopulation. You've got, here's an example, Shane Smith, CEO of Vice, Irish-Canadian guy, multi-billionaire, created a woke media empire. So when we're talking about censorship and silencing, and he says it's like Jewish or whatever, and I'm like, but what does that mean? Like there's woke entities that are completely white European dudes. Antifa is mostly white European. They're not Jewish guys going around smashing up windows. This is the issue of people blaming a group of people when the issue is specific to something unrelated to their background. I don't know what else, man. How are you guys doing?
I don't know. I might want to go downstairs and see if we could get him back. I think it's worth a try.
I'm
gonna try to talk to him, see if we can
I'll
get
read
him
super
back.
chats.
Yeah.
I'll read super chats. And, well, that was fun. We're just going to sit here.
I guess so.
We'll read some super chats because otherwise, that's it. You know, it is what it is, guys. We try.
I mean, Luke is right. He has left podcast before and then come back. Sometimes it just takes people, and it's
Dude.
probably a good lesson. It takes a minute to calm down, then you can come back after.
He
you kinda
needs
gather
to
yourself.
explain what he means.
Right.
He
And
can't just say, it's true. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? Who are you referring to? No, I'm done. I'm leaving. It's
Right.
like, okay, then I assume you have nothing behind what you're saying.
Right. You
And I'll tell you what else too, because early on he said, like, how do I win? I said ballot harvesting. But I got to say, man, if this, like, why would someone vote for this? Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.